we're going to try to graph this function of r of x. So the first step, remember, step 1 was to factor. It already is factored, so I'm done. I've done step 1. Okay. Now, step 2 is, can I reduce anything? It's all reduced. It's simplified, so I'm fine. So now I want to find step 3, my y-intercepts. Remember, my y-intercepts is when r is 0, and that's 0 over 0 minus 1 times 0 plus 2, which is 0. So my y-intercept's at 0. My x-intercept, remember, is only when the numerator is 0. So when is x equal to 0? Well, when x is 0. So that's pretty easy. Okay, so multiplicity, this has a multiplicity of 1, right? So it's going to pass through. Okay, it's not going to touch. Okay, now I have to find vertical asymptotes. Well, vertical asymptotes are when the denominator is 0, so I have x minus 1 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. That means I have a vertical asymptote at 1 and at negative 2. My horizontal asymptotes, if I look at this, this is really like x squared plus something. So this looks like x over x squared. So that means that it's going to 0. So I have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Now I'm going to take all that and see how if I can graph it. So what I want to do is I want to graph my intercept at 0. Okay. I want to graph my vertical asymptotes at x equals 1. And x equals negative 2. My horizontal asymptote is at 0. I lost my little point there. Now I have to figure out what's happening. Okay, so when I'm going to look here, and when x is bigger, then when x approaches 1 from the left-hand side, the right-hand side, it's positive. So I know it's going to go like this over here. Why do I know it's positive? Because if I pick 2, that's positive and that's positive. Now, when I look in here from the left-hand side, when it's less than 1, this is going to be negative and this is going to be positive. So this one goes through 0, remember, so it's going to go like this. And finally, when I look at something that's less than negative 2, like negative 3, these are both negative. But this is negative on top as well. Remember, before it was all positive. So they're all negative, which tells me that it's going to be negative here, and then it's going to approach 0 from this end. So go ahead on your own, graph this function on your calculator, and see if we were correct.